welcome. Welcome to the Calgary Expo panel on the X-Files. My name's Wayne Gladstone. I write for Cracked.com. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. We have 3 actual famous people coming, so it's not a problem. Also, if you see me switch to sunglasses, it's not because I'm trying to be cool, obviously not. Scratched the cornea this morning in preparation for the show. But I figure if you can wear all that latex and cosplay costumes, I can suffer through that. We have 3 amazing guests for you today. 3 characters from my favorite show of the 90s, Agent Dana Scully, Assistant Director Walter Skinner, and Agent John Doggett. Let's bring out our first guest, the lovely and talented Gillian Anderson. Thank you. I'll be quiet.
How you doing? I can't see any of you. That sucks. This is really bright. So I've got some business to discuss with you first. So I'm just going to wait to introduce the dudes. I have a script here that I'm going to auction off at the end of our panel. And it's an episode called Requiem. Do you remember that episode? I think it was season 7. Episode 22, and it's signed by David, Chris, me, Mitch, and Robert. And anyway, so that's happening at the end. And then I also want to tell you about the fact that on my website right now, Doodle for NF is one of the charities that I'm involved in, and so we get celebrities to do little doodles and sign them. And then we auction them off, and they are starting to be auctioned as of May 9th on eBay, but you can find out about it via my website. And I just wanted to give you an idea of who was on there, just to get you excited. So we've got just a few people that are on there. Candice Bergen, Jerry Ryan, Mayim Balick, Nancy Cartwright, Chris Colfer, Ellen DeGeneres, Steve Carell, Brad Garrett, Pete Docter, Dean Haglund, Nicholas Holt, Robert Kirkman, Matt LeBlanc, Melissa McCarthy, Bill Mummy, Kathy Najimy, Martin Sheen, Mark Snow, Lily Tomlin, Dermot Mulroney, Max Martini, James Lafferty, Mads Mikkelsen, Haley Osment, and Chris Carter and David Duchovny are supposed to be sending in their doodles. So if y'all want to give them a little nudge. And maybe my good friend Justin Vernon of Bon Iver. Hopefully, those guys will. So there's that. Hi. And then I've been told, I've never done this before. On May 9th, which is the same day as the first episode, I'm told, of the Hannibal series that I do a few things on. That's on the same day, and that's, I haven't seen any of me, but, so hopefully I don't suck. But start watching it live. Watch things live, you guys. Like, you know, live. And that's on NBC, by the way. And then May 15th is the transmission in the UK of The Fall, which is a series that I did in the BBC. I'm very excited about that. And it's been picked up by Netflix, and that's going to start later this month. And I am a whore. I just whored myself, but I got to get it out there. Anyway, so on to more important things. We have Mitch Pileggi. and oh,
No.
and Robert Patrick.
Yeah. John Doggett.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
He's shy.
I love Mitch. I'm just bullshitting.
How
Thank
y'all
you all.
doing?
Thank you all for joining us. How about all together now? Full applause for the full panel.
Aren't you cold, Gillian?
How many fucking jackets do you have on?
I'm freezing my
I'm
ass
just
off.
noticing that.
I got to kiss Gillian.
Wasn't
your
the first
hearts
time.
out.
So I know you all have a lot of
Wasn't the first time,
questions.
was it?
Oh, hi, by the way.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Oh, hey, I'm so
How are you?
Forgot you were there.
I was hoping for the hug, but you know.
Well, dude,
Okay, so we have an audience of X-Files fans who are probably going to have the best questions for you. But I thought I would start off with just one for each of you, and then throw it out to them. That's all right. Okay, so I'll go in order. When the show was on in the 90s, it was my favorite show, but I rewatched about 10 episodes to prep for today. And I noticed something that I hadn't noticed as a kid in my early 20s. Skinner might be the biggest badass in the show. Because it occurred to me he had the most to lose. Perhaps Mulder was a zealot. He couldn't help himself. He was always going to fight this battle. As the episodes went on, there was a relationship that developed with Scully. She had a romantic thing. She had the baby to worry about. She had personal motives to get involved. You just seem to be like, it's the right thing to do. I'll throw away my whole career, everything I've worked for. I was wondering if that's how you saw the character.
Well, I said to Mulder, or Skinner said to Mulder at one point, I'm standing on the line that you keep crossing. And that was pretty much, I think that pretty much said it all for his relationship with Mulder. As
How do you remember this shit? Do you remember like
I
lines?
do remember, yeah. Pucker up and kiss my ass is probably my favorite line. But
I don't remember a single fucking line.
You don't remember
I
really?
don't remember a single line.
Wow. There's...
Mulder, it's me.
And oh, Mulder. But as far as you know, I told Jill this in London. We were there last year. Is that my Skinner had a huge crush on Scully.
I was waiting.
And that's why he was so pissed off at Mulder all the time, because he knew that he didn't have a chance. But so I really did.
I knew that during the show.
I just that was always there, and it was like, well, it's so easy, man. It's like you just looking at you. It's like, 'cause I had a crush on you.
get a room.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, here's the
You can
deal.
come too.
Woohoo!
I ended up marrying her photo double. So there you go.
Oh my God, that's so revealing.
I think that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you.
Wow.
Kind of threw me there. I didn't really deeply Freudian into your psyche with that question I started off with. X-Files conspiracies and plot were revealed very slowly over a long period of time.
Are you going to ask me this question?
No, it's not. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask this question for you, but I don't think it's one that. It's not like what did you say in episode 6? What were you wearing? But we also learned things about people's emotions slowly. So the romance that developed between Scully and Mulder took forever. Did you, as an actress, decide perhaps that Dana had feelings for Mulder before it was there on the page, before we knew about it?
Well, yeah, by necessity, I think, just as something else other than to play than skepticism, but also it was pretty evident on the page and quite. I mean, if you watch the pilot and watch the back and forth between the two of them, you know, even though there's an intellectual banter there that starts from second one, that tension's there from the very beginning. You know, I think in the pilot, this really sounds like I know what I'm talking about. In the pilot, you've got that scene in the hotel room where, you know, and the fact that he, you know, looks for the marks on her back and all that kind of stuff. It sets it up from the beginning. So yes. Okay,
fair enough. Yesterday, in the Terminator panel, it was revealed that you based your T-1000 character on a praying mantis, in part. I was wondering, this might be the stupidest question you'll get asked ever, or today. I always thought, since your character, John Doggett, was so tenacious and reminded me almost like of a hunting dog, I was wondering if that was an influence on when you built the character.
No, I don't think so, but maybe that's maybe the loyalty of a dog, and I think that kind of grew as Doggett sort of proved that you know, his heart was in the right place, and I think he sort of established that he was a pretty loyal guy. So from that point of view, yeah, he lived up to his name.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. What do you think?
I have no idea what he's talking
See,
about.
I don't either. But I will tell you this, Jerry Doggett is an announcer of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and his partner was Vince Scully. And Chris Carter is a LA Dodger baseball fan and grew up listening to the Dodgers. And so I know he named Scully, Dana Scully, after Vince Scully. Thank you. And then when he was trying to come around for a name for the new guy, he decided to partner up with Jerry Doggett or John Doggett.
So that really proves how stupid my question is, because it's got nothing to do with a dog. Thank you. Okay, well, so I don't screw it up too badly.
Okay, yeah. I didn't mean to screw that up, but
it's all right. They'll never have
they were
me
going
back.
to call the guy Bud Miller. That was the original script I read. It was Bud Miller. Interesting.
We're going to throw it out to the real experts now and take questions from the audience. How about starting right here?
Hi. One of my favorite parts, kind of an add-on, was all the gag reel movies you guys did, and I was wondering how that started as like a tradition to do that at the end of every season.
Are those available to the public?
I wasn't aware of that either, Jill, so this is upsetting.
Are you
Very
kidding me?
upset. I thought those were for our own viewing.
There's one on Netflix, I think, right? One on Netflix?
They're on YouTube, actually.
I have seen one, and I think that pretty much establishes that I suffer from Tourette syndrome. That's all I have to say.
Holy shit. I'm not sure if that's legal.
Well, all right.
So what was the question?
Whose idea was it to start doing those after every season? How did
You know,
that
the
come
deal
about?
with the X-Files was some of the material was so serious, it was so easy to make it comedic. And a lot of times it's easier to make serious or dramatic writing funny. It's easier to make it funny than it is to make comedic writing funny. And so we used to kind of really, there were times when we would just get silly and start goofing on the writing and just go in a direction that wasn't where we were supposed to be going.
And also, we were puking up monologues at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and when that happens, you know, you start getting slap happy.
Oh, you get silly.
You just can't stop. You just get stupid. I mean,
We would work like 16, 17, 18, 20 hours a day
200
sometimes.
hours a day.
500 hours a day. It was
One day
nuts.
we worked 36 hours. It was incredible. I remember when I got the job, I got a lovely bouquet of flowers from Gillian, and there was a note that said simply, "Get some sleep." I thought it was sweet. I don't know if you remember doing that, but it was very nice. Maybe it
that
was.
was so nice of me.
It was one of. It was really.
Oh, wow.
Let's go to right here.
I saved that card.
Hey, Jill. How's it going? Over here.
Hey. Good, thanks.
I have a question for you. I read a new internet article that you and Dave and Chris might be interested in doing a third movie of the X-Files, and I just wanted to know if there's any confirmation or there's advancement of that idea, if it's going to happen or not.
You know, I really wish that I had something to tell you today. I don't. I'm hoping that someone's working on the script, and that may be happening as we speak. What I do know is that there's going to be a new round of comic books. Not that that's exactly the same thing, but I think they're working on new comic books. There's going to be a few rounds of 12 edition type things coming out soon. You know about that?
I do.
Okay.
I actually.
I'm not lying. But no, I don't know anything more. But if as we've said from day one, if there was one, we'd do it. So.
Well, I think everyone in this audience would love to see it, so I hope it does happen.
Thank you.
Let's throw it up there now. There's one up at that top.
Hi, Gillian. I've got another question for you. What exactly drew you to the show?
Are there children in the audience? Yeah, I heard a baby. I can't say what I was going to say. In all seriousness, it was interesting. It was a really interesting script, and I wasn't in the habit of reading television scripts at all. And when it was sent to me, it felt very cinematic and like something that I hadn't expected to read in a TV script. And you know, I hadn't really worked much before then, and so it seemed like a good idea to go along and try and audition for this character. But I don't know, I don't think I had any expectations. I just assumed that I probably wasn't going to get it, and then I'd keep waiting tables or whatever I was doing at that time. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
Fair enough. Why don't we just keep on looping it like this? All right.
Hi, it's nice to see all of you.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good, nervous. So I remember when X-Files first came on the air, and when we would dress up as Agent Scully for Halloween, nobody knew who we were, and we were like, I'm from X-Files, remember Agent Scully? And nobody knew who it was. So that kind of paved the way, I think, at least for me, appreciating sci-fi. So I was just wondering what your favorite sci-fi shows are that are on right now.
I don't watch television.
No? Well, you know, you can't always assume.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's on now? What sci-fi's? Dallas. Yeah, that's not sci-fi. But God bless you for bringing it up, sweetheart.
You know, that does.
True Blood.
There you go. I did want to ask you.
Supernatural?
Supernatural, yeah.
There you go.
Breaking Bad.
Last King of Scotland. Oh, that's not a sci-fi. But I have a question for you, Mr. Patrick, if it's all right. You were in Fire in the Sky, which was sci-fi. You were in Terminator, sci-fi.
Thanks for reminding me. I forgot about that.
Actually, I like that movie.
It's
But
a long time ago.
based on nothing, because I just didn't even meet you just right now, I just never felt that you personally watched a lot of sci-fi. Before you got the audition for X-Files, had you ever seen the show? Don't.
Yes.
Because
True. I did, and I was a fan of the show.
Okay.
I didn't watch it all the time.
You are lying right now.
I am
you are
not
lying
lying.
out of your ass.
I am not lying. And like Mitch Pileggi, I too have a crush on you. And
It's
it was one of the
epidemic.
reasons I was interested in doing the show.
Doing the show.
The show, The X-Files. I like to pick my parts based on the leading ladies. And, but in all seriousness, Chris was a fan of Fire in the Sky, I found out. And anyway, whatever, I ended up getting to do it. And thank you. Who asked me that? You did.
I start well. Yeah, I plowed up. I always
Yeah,
liked that
Fire in
movie.
the Sky. Yeah.
Have you seen it? It's a great movie. Apparently, the story it's based on is.
It's true.
Ah, okay.
It's a true story. No, it's a true story.
I'm not gonna like wrestle you for it.
I ain't wrestling you either, brother.
There are four. No, you're right. There are like 4 eyewitness accounts. People debate its validity.
It's a real story. It really happened.
It's a great
Anyway,
movie.
we're here to talk about the X-Files.
All right. How about right here?
Hey, well, first off, you guys definitely chose to be on the X-Files for the right reason, because I think everybody had a crush on Gillian.
Sure. It's only natural.
But you guys had some amazing Monster of the Week shows. Did you guys have a favorite one, like Tombs or something like that?
I like that one where that guy had the guy that went inside him. Did you ever see that one? That little midget guy? Remember that one? What the hell was that episode called?
Wasn't that the sideshow one, right?
What? It was like the little guy. The guy was...
Because it had all the sideshow
Are you talking about
characters.
Humbug?
I don't...
Was that a circus one?
It was a little guy and...
Were you in it?
No, the sideshow one was
It was
before.
one of the seasons I was in.
Okay, so it was at the end.
It was 8 or 9.
There was
8 or 9.
a midget who went up inside the guy.
Yeah, remember that?
Anyone?
You remember that
Anyone in the audience
he's
know the
making
show?
this up. He's like,
What the hell name was it? It was the weirdest freaking episode ever.
What?
Louder.
BG Mermaid?
That's what I heard.
PG-13.
Someone with a microphone, give someone who knows the show the microphone.
It's Bad Law.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
No, it is Bad Law.
Bad Law.
Bad luck. Bad luck?
Blood. Bad-
No, it's not bad blood.
All right, let's move on to something else.
Okay.
Whatever it was nasty.
Let me just jump in for a second to just reestablish some order. Gillian, there seem to be several references throughout the show, some oblique, some more obvious, between your character and Clarice Starling, Silence of the Lambs. I always thought that first season episode, if you remember, with Brad Dourif as the death row inmate who could channel your father, who had just passed. I don't know if you remember that one. And the final episode, the Mulder makes a "I heard you coming, Clarice" joke. You have any insight into that? Why that was in so many scripts, or if that?
I think, from what I understand, unless I'm misremembering this, but I think that Silence of the Lambs, which was not that far off when we first started doing this, I think that had a big influence on Chris when he was writing this, and also her character, starring his character, on his development of Scully.
Right. Okay.
So that probably has a lot to do with it.
Fair enough. See, there we go. Short question, short answer.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're back on track. Okay, right here.
BG Mermaid.
Peachy Mermaid.
I liked, one of my favorite episodes was Home. As a matter of fact, probably my favorite. And Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose. I thought Peter Boyle was absolutely brilliant. The comedy in it was, the black humor in it was absolutely was brilliant. So, but there were so many wonderful episodes that it's really hard to pick. But Home was so sick that I just loved it. It was great. And one of the things that I think is really wonderful that I'm finding out now is I've got a 14-year-old daughter, and she had a couple of her friends over the other day. And the whole time that they were there, they were kind of like, it just, had this kind of big, their eyes were like really wide. And then I asked my daughter later on, I said, did your friends think I was weird or something? And she goes, no, they had no idea that you played Skinner, and they're huge fans of it. And now I'm finding out that there's this new generation of kids watching the show and just loving it, which is so gratifying and wonderful for us to, that we're part of it, so long ago, that the show has held up so wonderfully, and it's still really good. It's still really good.
I only just realized, literally for the first time maybe a month ago, that at some point my boys who are 4 and 6 will watch the show. Like, that had not occurred to me.
I know. I wouldn't let my daughter watch it until like she was 13, because I just said, no, you can't watch it. And then finally it's like, okay, have at it. And she just started watching it and couldn't stop. And I'm like, there's some of them I'm like going, let's skip over that one and go on to the next one. But
At least
but
it's
they
not
love
porn.
it. Exactly.
Is there a question up top there?
Hi, thanks for being here. I'd just like to say I really love all you guys, so thanks. And I have noticed that there's a lot of parallel narratives going on in the show. So there's the one side that's very conspiracy oriented, and then the other side that's very monster themed. So I just wanted to know which one was more fun to actually film.
What What was the second parallel? The first was conspiracy, the second
Conspiracy,
Monster
and
of
then
the Week.
there's monster shows too. Yeah, so which one was more
the
fun?
funnest ones were the comedy ones. I mean, I think that, you know, some of the conspiracy ones got a little bit tedious after a while, and it was just fun whenever we got a Darren Morgan script or a script that had a little bit of humor in it. It was like a breath of fresh air. So those were the funnest ones to do, I think. Did you get to do any funny ones? Or were we kind of dried up by then?
We stopped being funny at that point.
Yeah, I think I stopped being funny
I remember
by
like a
then.
Brady Bunch episode near the end that
Right,
Vince Gilligan
Right, with
wrote.
David Faustino
I
was
don't know
in.
if it was funny, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's friggin'
I thought
hilarious.
a
I
lot
was
of-
just happy to be working and having a good time. It was a great show to be a part of.
I always thought a lot of humor came from your character. Like, it seemed by design, your character did not belong in the X-Files. They took someone who was just a hard, tough investigator, military guy, and put him in this world that was completely insane. I always thought a lot of humor came from just the juxtaposition. Of you being
Okay.
So okay.
I like that. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad
I
you're
laughed.
entertained. I was going for humor. Always looking for humor.
Why don't we
I'm
start?
one funny
You're a
fucking
funny
guy,
man,
I'll tell
John
you that.
Doggett.
We'll go over here.
Hey guys,
Hi.
gotta say, I've been a diehard fan ever since the pilot episode. I was actually 13 when I started watching it. To be honest, Gillian was the reason why I watched the show.
Calm down. Calm down.
Loved how throughout the years your guys' characters have developed and grown. What I'd like to ask each of you is, what's your favorite, like, Skinner episode, Scully episode, Doggett episode?
Well, there weren't a whole lot of Skinner episodes, so it's like, and I have to be quite honest, the episodes that were my
What was the
favorite.
one where you took off your shirt?
I can't remember.
Oh, fuck off.
I can't. What was it? Was it?
Is it tattooed on your ass somewhere?
No, I can't remember.
I'm really screwed today.
I just remember that there was one at one point when we were rehearsing that, when I was walking around with my shirt off, I put a bra on, and Rob Bowman was directing, and his younger brother was there, and from what I understand, I traumatized him, and to this day, it's still bothering him. But
How long did you work out, like, extra time in the gym before you had to do that?
I worked out every day that I was on the X-Files, just anticipating having to take my shirt off. And I still do that, because I'm just waiting on Dallas for them to tell me to take my shirt off, and I'm going to be ready.
Did anyone else want to take a crack at that? A favorite
I had,
episode?
I'm notoriously, my favorite episode is Bad Blood. It's not a Scully episode, but I just find it so funny.
It was hilarious. It was so
I
funny.
love that episode.
I loved it when you threw water in my face.
Oh, I
The
like
first
that too.
episode.
Right
That
off the
was
bat.
my
Right off the
favorite
bat.
episode.
I enjoyed that too.
We did that in one take.
Did we?
At least I thought so. And then there was another take. Kim
she
Manners
started
was,
to-
we're gonna start it right off with that. And all right, got to do it again. It was fun though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was nervous.
I'm sure you were.
I was really nervous.
Yeah, I
get
understand.
nervous around you anyway, so it's hard
I'm
to work
very
with you.
intimidating.
It's hard to work with you.
Why don't we
always
go over
nervous.
Hi, Terminator, you're the best. I know I saw you yesterday, and you walked by. I think I realized after with you and Linda Hamilton, so I just want to say hi. And Gillian, you're just as beautiful as ever. I can't wait to see you in Hannibal. Do you like younger men? I love you. You got a potty mouth. My wife's not here. Do you want a drink? No, that's kind of rhetorical.
Wait, can you repeat that? What was the last bit?
My wife's not here. Do you want to go and have a drink? I know that's rhetorical. And it's Mitch, right?
Mitch. It's Mitch. Mitch, the bitch, Pileggi.
Seen you in X-Files and Stargate, you're spaceship captain, and
Captain Kirk. That was my Captain Kirk moment, and I had so much fun.
You played it well. And Sons of Anarchy, you played a little bit greasier character. So I was just wondering, between like the three, those are the ones I've seen you in anyway. Can you describe how you feel about the different characters, and what was your favorite?
Was X-Files in there? Yeah, X-Files would have been my favorite, and it was very. I mean, the characters were all very. I mean, I guess Caldwell on Stargate was similar to Skinner and you know, Supernatural. I spent the whole time trying to figure out what I was doing, why Samuel was back, and why, you know, whatever. And Sons of Anarchy was it's a great cast. It's a great group of people. Brilliant writing. The character was brutal, and some of the dialogue that I had to say was a little tough because of the racist aspect of, you know, playing a white supremacist. But yeah, so I mean, X-Files absolutely is closest to my heart. Always will be.
Can I follow up? Can I go through puberty on stage in front of 20,000 people? I read something, I was wondering if you could tell me it was true, about the audition process for X-Files. That you had auditioned for smaller, like one-off characters unsuccessfully until you came back and were vaguely irritated to be back, and somehow that irritation, you being there, fed into the
was
Skinner
exactly
role.
what Chris wanted. I had auditioned for the role twice, and at the time my head was shaved, and Chris thought it was too extreme for the X-Files. So anyway, I grew my hair back, all of it, and went in and read for Skinner. And at the point, you know, my agent said, you know, they want to see you again, and I said, you know what, I've read for him twice. He knows what I can do. If he wants to hire me, he can hire me. And so I said, no, I don't want to go in. And so my agent talked me into going in, and I finally went in. And I walked in, and I was pretty surly and PO'd, and I think I walked right. Chris put his hand out. I think I just walked right by him, and I said, okay, let's do it. And so we did the scene, and I said, anything different? Then he said, no, it was great. And I said, are you sure? And he goes, no, it was perfect. I said, are you sure? And that's exactly what he wanted for Skinner, that attitude. And I think I'm very fortunate that he didn't cast me in either of the first two roles that I auditioned for, because I would not have had the opportunity to play this wonderful role that I got to play of Skinner. Thank you. But yeah, that did happen. It's a true story. Yeah.
All right, why don't we go up
I wouldn't
top?
tell
Wait,
Chris
before-
about it. I wouldn't say that to Chris, but.
How are we doing on time? I don't know if it's because I'm blind, but someone's supposed to be over here flagging me. We're all good? Okay. Up there, please.
Hi there. I've been
Hi.
a huge fan. I started watching when I was really little, far too young to probably should have been started watching. So I was really scared by the X-Files a lot. There were a lot of scary episodes for me. And I'm just wondering, what were some of your most scariest episodes, or the ones that scared you the most?
Something scary.
Were you ever personally
again,
scared?
We talked about Home. Home is one of the freakiest ones I think we did.
One of the moments that scared me the most was going on set when Chris was directing an episode, and I couldn't remember my lines, and he was getting really irritated. I was like, I'm so sorry, Chris.
And
The
you got a
surly attitude was
complicated
gone.
relationship with Chris
Oh,
Carter.
don't we all?
So. Good. Yeah, good.
Okay.
I got one. I think it was called Demon Niscus or something. Demon something or other. I can't remember.
BG.
I can't remember.
BG Mermaid.
I can't remember the goddamn title. Pardon me. But it was the one we were shooting when 9/11 happened, and it was about a demonic.
Thing. Being?
Demonic
Guy?
possession of a body. A guy was demon. You know, he had a demon. It was weird. It was evil. It was an evil episode to be shooting. Demonic possession. An evil episode to be shooting during 9/11. I found it very dark, and it was just too ironic. It was weird. I didn't like it. No, I'm being very sincere.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny.
It's not
For
funny.
real.
It's not funny.
That's not funny.
It's not funny, John Doggett.
Can I ask all of you, or any of you, obviously X-Files has a incredibly long, complicated, plot-heavy, intense story to get through. Did you need to be like prepped occasionally at different parts in the series? Like, wait, who's this guy again? Part of what conspiracy?
No, we didn't give a crap by then.
Everything was a self-contained moment, like you had what you needed within the script?
We had no time. I mean, there was no time. It was no time to know anything. There was only time, barely, to memorize lines and try and figure out. At the beginning, I was researching everything and looking up every word and all this kind of stuff. And then there was a certain point where I just not anymore.
It was just a matter of trying, as you know, people ask me, they go, well, you know, during this scene, what were you thinking? Because it looked like there was so much going on in your head. And I said, I was trying to remember my lines. And that was a lot of what my characterization was, too.
Most of the time, you know, if the intention is right in a scene and you're a decent enough actor, you can get people to believe what you're doing.
Well, we want to believe. Huh? Oh, sorry.
Good one.
Yeah. Sorry.
Do you remember? I just said. Do you remember that when Chris put himself in that scene with us?
At the boardroom
table.
table.
First season, right?
Is that right? Chris put himself in a scene with Jill and I, and it was funny because he'd written a certain number of lines for himself, and as we progressed through shooting it, he was really having a hard time getting the dialogue out, so he would keep cutting his lines. With each take, and to the point where I think he ended up saying like one word. It was like after every take, Gillian and I would kind of look at each other and just kind of like, it was like we were really stifling laughter. But he was so nervous. It was so nervous, doing it.
I watched that episode in prepping, and like he's at the end of a table, and he just says something like pissy, like, "Isn't this the file you were supposed to debunk?" or something like that. Yeah, he was awful.
He even cut his hair. He even cut his hair for that.
I mean, he's one of my favorite show of all time, but that line I had to laugh about, because there you go. Validation. I'm right about one thing today. Okay, I'm going to go right here. We've got 10 more minutes for questions, and then Gillian's going to auction off that script. So.
I just want to say hi and thank you for coming to my hometown.
She's a little bit starstruck right now, so we've actually got a bit of an obscure question for Mitch. You did voice work a while back for Planescape Torment, and we were just looking to ask about that experience, what you thought about it, and if you'd be willing to do voice work in gaming in the future.
What was the name of it?
Planescape Torment.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I don't remember it. I remember doing, and I see it. It's on my IMDb that I did this, and I'm like, I just can't remember it. Was I good? Was I okay? Okay, good. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Let me just jump in with another question for Robert. Did it help you as an actor? Did you do this? Did you even go through this process? Did you say to yourself, what does Doggett think of Mulder? I mean, we know that he was loyal. We know he came to believe things. But I would think that if those two guys just met in a bar, not in a work situation, Mulder would not be his kind of guy.
Okay.
But but more important than what I think is wondering what you think. And if you, maybe as an actor, which I'm not, you don't even make those kind of decisions. It's not helpful.
I mean, I don't remember. It's a long time ago when we did that. I think from an actor point of view, I was just like, there's this guy, he's known in the FBI, he's a guy that believes in the UFOs and all the paranormal stuff, and I don't believe in it, and I got to try to find him, and I got to talk to her to try to get some info, and I don't, I guess I approached him as he's a bit crazy.
Right.
I don't know if he'd be I mean, that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, and I guess it's very rare that someone could come in so later and be so successful. So I was just spending a lot of time trying to figure out why, and I think it was just because it was everything you wouldn't expect. You were in no way a sequel to that character. You were almost antithetical. Yeah. So I was just wondering, it worked for me. How about a big hand for the undaunted task of coming in the final seasons and making the show better, reinvigorating it.
Thank you.
The show killer.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? All y'all people that just kind of filled up the middle section late, where are you coming from?
Where you been?
For
What's
the
going
next
on?
show.
Why don't we go right?
Where, what?
Wherever you want. Which one? In blue?
What?
All right. Pick. You pick the blue you want. Pick right here in blue. Right here in blue.
We did a strip at the beginning of the piece.
Okay.
You missed it.
We'll do both. We'll go here and
There was a pole right
We
in
were
the
pole,
middle of
we were pole dancing. You missed it. It was great. We were wonderful.
Oh, come here. Wait, can you see our little questioner? He looks to be about 3 or 5.
Hey, buddy, how you
4,
doing?
3.
Gillian Eisen, did you have a dog?
What did he say?
He said, Gillian Anderson, do you have a dog? You
That's better than all my questions.
Buddy, I don't have a dog. I used to have a dog. What? Oh, Queequeg. You want to know about Queequeg? No, Queequeg died, sweetie.
Got eaten.
Queequeg got eaten by a crocodile. Am I right? Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Poor child.
Just got really
Sorry,
dark.
But it was
honey.
just pretend. It was just pretend.
But there are no crocodiles in Calgary.
All right, why don't we
Don't
go
worry.
over here?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I have a question for Mitch. So I heard when John Doggett was brought onto the show that you were a bit of a bitch when it came to the call sheet. He was supposed to be number 3, and you had him bumped down to number 4. Is this true?
I'm sorry. I'm not familiar. Do you have any recollection of this? Did you plant that? Did you plant that?
Oh, that's what that...
Okay, you want an answer to that? You want an answer? You want to know the truth? You're an asshole.
I think I've pretty much proven that today. Yes.
Oh, God. That's why you...
Yeah, no, it was a big joke. It was just, I was kidding.
Let's...
So
Didn't
was I,
happen.
Mitch.
Never happened.
So was I.
Never happened.
Let's go up top.
Sit down.
Hi, this is a question for Robert. I wanted to know about the emotions you had as a professional being parachuted into the show. It's a mega successful show. The company went off to be a big movie star, and you're coming in. Were you worried about the show failing, or were you totally cool and thought the show would be a success anyway? You could handle it.
That's from up here, and I guess the question is basically any fears you had coming into an existing, just what we were talking about before. The
Yes,
daunting
I was
task.
in all seriousness, and I haven't been very serious today, I was very nervous about coming in. And I wasn't familiar with the internet, and apparently people were very against it and really kind of hated me and the character and the idea of a new guy. And that was interesting. But I think that we proved, and Chris Carter worked really, really hard at introducing a new character, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it for the 2 short years we had.
I'd like to say when Robert came on the show, he brought this great energy, because we'd been doing the show for 7 seasons, and you know, at a certain point you kind of start to flag, but he came in with this great energy, this great attitude, and it was, you know, the first time that I talked to him, I was like, this is great having this guy here, because he's really ready to his saying was, bring it. And after we finished, we brought it, because he really, really brought a lot to us, and helped carry us through the last 2
Very true.
seasons.
I forgot about that. I forgot about the positive energy you brought to us. You really did. You lifted our set in a really good way at a time when it could have been, you know, not.
Even though he was number 4 on the call sheet.
All right, I think we have time for 1, maybe 2 more. Why don't we go?
Thank you both.
Here.
Thank you. Hi. We already talked about what you all thought was the scariest episode of the show. So maybe we can look at what you thought was the funniest episode. In my opinion, Small Potatoes was by far the funniest episode ever. It was the shapeshifter episode where the guy's so infatuated with Scully that he takes on Mulder's appearance. And it's also an episode where it's the closest that Mulder and Scully come to kissing. What do you all think was the funniest episode of The X-Files?
Did Darren Morgan write that? I think Darren Morgan wrote our funniest episodes. The guy's just a comedic genius, and I don't know if he knows it or not, but he wrote some wonderful stuff. I thought
Bad Blood.
I thought Bad Blood was hilarious because of the Rashomon, aspect of it, the way that they saw, the stories completely differently, and her description of Wilson's character and
Luke Wilson, yeah.
I mean, they completely saw it different. It was the back and forth between the two of them was absolutely hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and the little pizza guy that was. Remember the pizza guy that was?
Yeah.
he was so funny.
That was funny.
But I think, yeah. I don't know what. Yeah, well, I don't know what I meant by that, but.
All right, I think we got a last question. Wait, is there anyone there? Oh, it's the two red shirts. I was thrown.
Nope.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, so it's me. I get the last question. This is awesome. Hi. I guess I'd like to start by saying that my favorite episode is probably In the Field Where I Died. I don't think that one's been mentioned today, and I think it deserves some credit. I think a lot of times...
Darren Morgan's wife was in that. They met.
The other Glenn Morgan's wife.
Oh, Glenn Morgan's wife. Did
Morgan's
Glenn write
was-
that script? He probably must have. Yeah.
since his
Okay.
wife
Yeah.
was in it,
So
yeah.
anyway, it's boring.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks for interrupting me.
I remembered something, and I'm like, I got something.
Oh, are you still there? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think on TV, a lot of times we see a lot of difficulty trying to write strong female characters. But Dana Scully, I think, was really well written and with a deep sense of affection. I think we all really felt very close to her. Yeah, some people more than others, apparently. And so I'd like to ask what you all think Dana Scully's legacy was for female characters that have come after her on television.
I am amazed at how full this auditorium is, and this is the last question. It's such a shame.
We're doing the auction, so don't go away.
I mean, from what I understand, at the time, I mean, I've never been a big TV watcher, but from my understanding of the impact that the series had on popular culture and how women were portrayed on TV, the difference between who Scully is and who was on TV at the time was so radical that it was so extreme. And since then, and as a result of her character, there's been, first of all, there were a lot of different TV series that tried to emulate the relationship between a male and a female, having a duo in a way that hadn't really been done since before our series. Oh my God, I can't talk. And so there was that, but also, since then there are so many strong women on TV, and not that they all, come from that, but it certainly started a very positive and fortunate trend, I think, in TV, and just having, women with brains and independent female characters on TV. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, so we're going to do the auction now, but before we go, why don't we thank Robert Patrick, Gillian Anderson, and Mitch Pileggi for being here today. Thank you very much.
So there is this the script. It's Requiem. It's from the 7th season, episode number 22, and there's not many scripts out there that have been signed by so many of us. It's signed by me, David, Chris, Mitch, and Robert. And So I'm just wondering if there's anybody out there who might be interested in bidding for it. Is that something that's of interest to people? Okay, all right.
I bid $100.
Okay, 150. Is somebody going to help on the floor with this?
500.
500, okay.
500 right here.
Anybody go above 500? Just yell out what you want. Can anybody go to 550? What? What? Anybody go to 550?
550.
550. Anybody go to 600? Come on, it's like signed by all of us, mostly, some of us.
It's for a really good cause.
Yeah, it's for a really good cause. So I think we're at 550. Can anybody go up to 600?
Where?
Yeah? Was that no?
You just got goosed.
Yes, we've got a 600. Do I hear 650? 650? Anybody 650? 650. $650, Requiem, 7th season, signed by God. So I think we're at 650. Is that it? Going once, going twice at 650 somewhere in the back. Oh, what do we got? How much? 7? 7. Okay, we got 7. We got
Good
7.
man,
The script
good
signed
man.
by God and us. $700. Anybody want to go above 7? Anybody go above $700? Requiem, 7th season. Yeah, what's that? 750? Or 8? Sorry, did I hear 8? No.
I thought I heard 1,000.
Is that 750 from the, say yes or no? 750? Okay, if not, I'm going to go back to 7. Oh my God, what is wrong?
You're 7.
Is that, can you say the word yes? I'm really confused. I'm confused. Okay, we're at $700 for the handsome man in the gray sweatshirt. $700. Anybody for more than $700? Anybody for 750? Anybody for 750? Signed by God and some of the members of the X-Files. No, I think we're at 700. Going once. Going twice. Oh.
Yes?
Is that 750?
750.
Woohoo!
Good man.
750. Okay. 750 and a kiss. Anybody want to go above 750? If nobody bids, I'm going to be really embarrassed. 800. Okay, 800 for the script and a kiss.
Here comes
But
Mitch.
the kiss is with me. I'll throw in a kiss too. He's not a guy.
Anybody want to go higher than 800 for a script signed by God, the X-Files cast, and a kiss? No? Okay. It's 800. Sounds like 800. That's pretty good. $800. Okay. Come on up.
Does he have to have 8 secrets on him right now?
Way to go, Jill.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless
Where's
Calgary.
Gary?
Thank you very much.
Bring him up here. You
Oh,
bet, you bet.
oh, this is in public. Oh, everyone should see this.
Bring him up here.
Bam! Thank you so much.